and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really sucking the ball. Knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets from New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets! Oh, they're hollering, they're cheering, and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets! All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball from the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell! Give 'em a hand! And let 'em know you're rooting and you stand. Come on and meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really solid the ball. Knock those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Of New York town.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and this is a broadcast from your home for tutorials and strategies and player profiles, history, reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and much, much more. You're joining us for another presentation of our 69 Mets replay. The Mets have made this definitely. The Mets have gone on a streak, and they've come back, and they've made this into a serious race. The Mets are 3 games behind at the halfway point, and they've got a lot of momentum. They've been winning a bunch of games. They're 42 and 43, 9 games over. Actually, they're 4. Excuse me. That's the Cubs. The Mets are 45 and 35, 10 games over, and this is game number 81. So the team in first place is the Montreal Expos. The Expos are in first place. They were the last place team in 69, but in our replay, they're the first place team. So that's kind of cool. Something unusual that you don't see very often. Usually bad teams are really bad teams. Yeah. And we're playing the Cubs, who are 42 and 43. So Mets are in pretty good shape. And we are in New York, so it's going to be the Cubs leading it off with Kessinger at short, leading it off. And second baseman Beckert batting second. Batting third is Billy Williams. Batting third is Ron Santo. Fifth is the first baseman Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub. Batting sixth is Al Spangler, the right fielder. Randy Hundley, the seventh place batter. He's the catcher. Batting eighth is Qualls, and then he's in center field. And then it's Kenny Holtzman. And today you're going to see a whopper of a pitching matchup. It's going to be Tom Seaver versus Kenny Holtzman. Seaver, 25 and 7, not doing as well in our replay, but obviously it's almost impossible to repeat a 25 and 7 season on the tabletop. Kenny Holtzman is 17 and 13 with 3.58 ERA. So that's how they did in 1969. And in the replay, Seaver in his 19th start is 6 and 8 with a 2.33 ERA. So he's been pitching extremely well, but the Mets have not been scoring runs for him throughout at the halfway point in this season. So we're going to get started and start pulling cards. We're going to keep it stealth style. And it's going to be very quiet outside of my voice and the sounds of the crowd. Going to have some sounds of the crowd here going. There we go. All right, let's play ball. And so I'm going to use both hands, and that two things are going to happen at once. The game's going to go by pretty quick. And here I have my Topps baseball cards, Tom Seaver versus Kenny Holtzman. Pull those out of the binder that I have them in. And let's roll. It's Don Kessinger versus Tom Terrific, the franchise, and play ball. That's a tough 31, and against a righty, that's line base hit to left. So Kessinger goes the other way, lines a Seaver fastball to left field. Kessinger's on at first. Kessinger had 11 stolen bases. We're going to try to go, and we do not get that. Well, going Becker now, 6. That's a tough out. Tough out 37. And that's a ground ball third base. This could be a double play. And it's a hard ground, sharp grounder to Charles. He goes to file at second, back to Clendenin at first. 5-4-3 round the horn double play for the Mets. So that's 2 down, nobody on, and it's Billy Williams. 6, a tough out, 86. And that is a ground ball, chopped to file. Over to Clendenin, and that retires the side. Go to the bottom of the first, Tommy Agee against Kenny Holtzman, left-hander. That's a 5-12, and that is going to be ball 4. So Tommy Agee walks in. He's always a threat to steal. Does not go. Bobby Fowler is next. A 6 tough, a tough 65. And that is a ground ball second base. This may get turned, and no, it will not. It's going to be a fielder's choice, 4-6. No throw to first. So Bobby Fowler's on the first, and Cleon Jones. All right, that's an 8. That's a tough pitch. A tough 49 against the lefty, and that's a ground ball third base this time. This may be a double play, and no, it won't be. It's going to be, again, another fielder's choice, 5-4. Jones is on at first. Oh, Jesus. Clendenin. 10 in play, 84. And that's a chopper to short. Kessinger waits back now, charges, fires the first, and gets Clendenin by half a step. Go to top of the second, Tom Seaver to Ron Santo. That's a 5. Tough out for Seaver, 75. And that's a fly ball, shallow center field. In comes Agee, makes the catch, 1 away. Ernie Banks is next. 8 is a tough pitch, a tough 69. And that's a ground ball to second. File to his right. Throws off balance and gets Ernie Banks. Al Spangler, left-handed hitter, 6. That's a tough out. 41. And that is a ball that's dribbled the opposite way, and Charles charges it and fires the first and gets his man 5-3. Nice play by Ed Charles. All right, and Ed Charles comes up. He's a right-handed batter. He's batting .231 on the season with no home runs. That's a 7 in play, 24, and that's going to be a pop-up. And Hudley throws his mask away. Makes a catch. Ron Svoboda next versus Kenny Holtzman. 5 is a patient. 74 is a fly ball in the gap, and claws after it and runs it down. So Claw's got a nice jump on that. And it's Jerry Grody. A tough 70, and that's a bouncer to second. Beckert over to Banks. That retires the side. Like I said, we're going to be moving and grooving. We're at the top of the third. It's going to be Tom Seaver versus Randy Hundley, and that's a tough pitch. That's strike 3. Tom Seaver rears back and blows one by Randy Hundley. Next is Qualls. That's a 4 patient 89, and that is a ground ball shortstop. Swoops it, throws him out. Qualls is out. And it's the pitcher spot. He's a 6 pitcher hitting card. That's a 10. That's a ballpark. A ballpark 30. Would be a wild pitch, but there's nobody on. So ballpark 30 is at Shea Stadium, a lefty batter. Nope. It's going to be in play. In play 80. And that is an easy ground ball. Dribbled to short. And Weiss throws out. Holtzman. That retires the side, and the Mets bring up Weiss. It's the bottom of the third. And Holtzman to Weiss. It's a tough pitch, tough 55. Oh, it just misses being a hit. And that's a fly ball to right. One down. Pitcher hitting card 3, Tom Seaver. A patient 77. And the patient 77 is a ground ball to short. Tommy Agee. 5, patient. Patient 57. And that's ball 4. So Tommy Agee walks. He's on at first. He's going to try to get the steal. Does not get the jump. Bobby Fowl with 2 out and 1 on here in the bottom of the third. That's a 9. Patient 40 versus and that's going to be a line drive base hit left field. And that's cut off by Billy Williams. And over to third is Tommy Agee. So the Mets with 2 outs. That's a little something going here. First and third. And it's Cleon Jones. This is the guy the Mets want up in this situation. That's a 5. That's a patient. A patient 06, ball 4. Cleon Jones walks below the bases with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. And Don Clendenin, this is the Mets power hitter, picked up from the Montreal Expos. And Kenny Holtzman with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Jones is on at first. Files on at second. Tommy Agee is on at third. There's no score in this game here in the bottom of the third, so this is a big chance for the Mets. Can Don Clendenin come up big or not? Let's pull a card. That's a 10. That's in play, and that's a 93, and that's a deep drive to left field. Williams on the run in the gap and makes the catch. So Billy Williams catches up to it, and Clendenin and the Mets strand 3. Holy smokes. Top of the fourth. This is time for us to shuffle. No score on top of the fourth. Cubs versus Mets, 1969, game 81. We're halfway through our 69 replay. And this is just one of the many times we're going to replay the 69 season. I did not invest in this 1970 Topps with all the 69 players, except for, of course, the ones who retired. And not play 69 multiple times. By 72, Kenny Holtzman is with the Oakland Athletics. All right. We are ready to roll. Using the fast action cards, it's Don Kessinger. Here's a pitch from Seaver that's in play. And a 49 is a ground ball third base. And Charles up with it, fires across the diamond and gets Kessinger 1 away. It's a 7 in play to Glenn Becker, 14. And that's a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit into center field. And Agee gets it in. So Beckert is on with a single. This is Billy Williams. That's tough pitch, 98. And that's popped up right side. Outfield. High flies for Boda. Under it. 2 down. And Ron Santo. Tough out. 99. And that's popped up left side. Charles. And foul ground makes the catch and that retires the side. All right, no score, bottom of the fourth, Ed Charles. That's a 9. Patient 63 against the lefty, and that is a ground ball, second base. Beckert up with it over the banks, 1 away. Ron Swoboda. 2 in play, 17. That's line base hit for Swoboda. Swoboda's on with a single. Had 1 stolen base, so he's not going to be going. Jerry Grody. 1 out, 1 on. In play, 89. And that's going to be a ground ball. Hit to the shortstop. This could turn 2. And it's going to be a 6. Kessinger to Beckert, back to Banks, 6-4-3 double play. Ernie Banks leading it off here against Seaver in the top of the 5th. That's a 10 ballpark. 60. Lucky that's only in play. In play 67. And that's a ground ball, second base. File better hurry. Throws out Banks. Banks was hustling down the line. This is 8. Another tough pitch by Seaver. And this one is a ground ball to the first baseman, Clendenin. He's going to take it himself. 2 down. Al Spangler grounds out. That's Randy Hundley. Randy Hundley in our replay bank, 253 with 5 home runs and 300 at bats. That's a 10. That's ballpark. 46 is in play. 54 in play. 54, and that's a hard hit grounder to the third baseman Charles, and fires the first and gets Hundley, and that retires the side. Bottom of the 5th, Al Weiss, Kenny Holtzman. Kenny Holtzman looks in for the sign. That's an 8. Tough pitch. 25. Strike 3. Next is the Tom Seaver's up with 10. In play 87. And that's a grounder to short. Kessinger throws him out. 2 down. 2 up, 2 down. And it's Tommy Agee who's walked twice in this game. That's defense. Defense error, third base. We roll at 29. Let's see. Third baseman. Let's look and see. Ron Santo. Let's see what kind of third baseman. He's an average third baseman with a 3 error rating. 1 to 44. We roll at 29. So that's going to be an error. It's going to be a 1 or 2 base error, and that's going to be a 1 base error. So he boots it. Ron Santo boots the grounder. And Agee's on the first. Agee's going to try to get a jump, and he does. And there goes Agee. The throw down is not in time. Tommy Agee steals second base. Reaches on an error, immediately steals second. Mets have a runner in scoring position in the bottom of the 5th. The go-ahead run now is in second base with 2 outs, and it's Bobby File. Bobby File versus lefties batted .268. Here's the pitch. That's a 3. Another defensive call. And that's an error third base again. A potential error on Santo. A 43. Oh, that's another error on Santo. Back-to-back error. Oh, but this is a pop-up. And it's going to be called foul territory. So so Santo drops this one in foul territory. He's going to be charged with an error. And Bobby File gets a second life. So the go-ahead run Agee is second base. There's 2 outs. Bobby File here in the bottom of the 5th. It's Seaver versus Holtzman. That's a 6, a tough 83. And that's a ground ball shortstop. Kessinger in the hole. Long throw to first. Oh, in time. Just got him. All right, Tom Seaver, top of the 6th. Jim Qualls. Here's a pitch. That's a 7. In play, 74. And that's a fly ball. Center field. Tommy Agee settles under it, makes the catch. 1 away. Next is the pitcher. He's a 6. That's a 10 ballpark. 62. In play 48. And that is a ground ball third base. Charging it is Charles. And throws out. Holtzman. Next is Don Kessinger with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. That's a 9. A patient 0-7, ball 4. So Kessinger walks. And it's Glenn Beckert. Well, it's an 8. That's a tough pitch. A tough 19. That's against a righty. That's going to be line base hit to left field. And with 2 out, Kessinger's going to go over to third. We got first and third now, and 2 outs. It's top of the 6th. There's no score. Seaver versus Holtzman. So Beckert takes his lead on first, and Kessinger's over third base. It's Billy Williams. Billy Williams batting .332 with 8 home runs and 343 at bats in the replay. So Billy Williams had a pretty good season. Is having an outstanding season. Batted, I think, .310, around 300. So he's actually hitting about 30 points higher than he did in actuality. So here goes. Tom Seaver looks in for the sign. And here's the pitch. That's a 6. That's a tough out. Huge pitch by Tom Seaver. Comes up huge here. That's a grounder to short. Weiss flips the file, and that retires the side. The franchise coming up big in a tough situation there. It's the bottom of the 6th. Kenny Holtzman to Cleon Jones. That's a 10. That's in play, 0-9, and that is line base hit to left. So Jones, the leadoff batter, is on with a single. Jones is going to try to get a lead. He does not. Don Clendenin. There's the pitch from Kenny Holtzman. That's a 2. That's in play, 16, and that is line base hit. And will Jones go to third? And no, Jones is going to get stopped at second base. He had to wait for that line drive to get through the infield. He holds up. So there's runners on first and second. Nobody out for the Mets here in the bottom of the 6th inning in a scoreless tie. A major pitching duel. I got both my cat and my dog are going bazonkas. I don't know why. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so Mets have first and second, nobody out, and it's Ed Charles. Now, in a situation like this, Ed Charles, not a very good bunter. We run the risk of hitting him to a double play. So Ed Charles is gonna square. So here's a pitch from Holtzman, and that's gonna be a little nubber that goes back to Holtzman. Holtzman's gonna have only one play, and that's the first base. So it's a successful sacrifice. 1-4, and the Mets have second and third now, and it's Ron Swoboda. Here's the pitch to Ron Swoboda. That's an 8. That's a tough pitch. Let's see what happens. A tough 35 versus the lefty. That's straight 3. Swoboda down swinging in a clutch situation, a crucial situation for the Mets. And Swoboda can't get it done. And now with 2 outs, Jerry Grote. All right. There's a pitch from Holtzman. That's a 3. That's defense. Oh, boy. A potential error third base, shortstop, excuse me. So this is a ground ball to the shortstop, Kessinger. And let's look at Kessinger's error rating. He's a 5 error rating, which means that he is one of the top fielders at his position. So we're going to need a 1-25 for an error to happen. And it's a 0-3. And he boots the ball. Kessinger boots the ball with 2 outs. And Jones comes in to score. Is this going to be a 1 or a 2 base error? It's a 1 base error. Holy smokes. So a sure-handed Don Kessinger gets a ground ball that's 99.9% of the time is going to be an easy out. And he just takes his eye off it, hits off his glove, rolls away. The Mets are up 1-0. Clendenin at third, and at first is Jerry Grote. And, with Grote running, Kessinger had all the time in the world, but rushed it a little bit, took his eye off the ball, and the Mets are up 1-0 on the unearned run. That's the second error for the Cubs in the game. Al Weiss. It's the pitch to Al Weiss. Patient. Let's see what that looks like. And that's going to be a fly ball, center field. Back goes Qualls. A couple of steps. Settles under it, makes the catch. Top of the 7th. And this is an opportunity or a time to shuffle again. This is the last shuffle that we do in the game with using the stealth system of fast action cards. This is a chartless game. 99.9 chartless. All right, we're ready to roll here. It's Ron Santo leading it off against Tom Terrific. The Mets are up 1-0. Mets are 3 games behind in the standings, behind the front runner Montreal Expos, who are in first place. And the anomaly is that the Montreal Expos were in last place in 1969. So it's Tom Seaver looks in for the sign, and here's the pitch. That's a 9. Patient 82. And that is a fly ball, center field. One down. Ernie Banks. 9 patient, 33. And that's going to be a little dribbler that gets through the hole and into left field for a base hit. So Banks is on with a single. Spangler next. It's a 9 patient, 17, and that's ball 4. So now the Cubs have mounted a little bit of a threat here with runners on first and second and 1 out, and it's Randy Hundley. Here's the pitch. That's a 6. That's a tough out. That's what they needed. A tough out is a fly ball center field. And Agee comes in, settles under it, makes the catch, gets it in quickly, 2 away. And now it's Jim Qualls. Jim Qualls versus righty. Righty's batted .248. Here's the pitch. That's a 9. Patient 65. And a patient 65 is a ground ball, second base file. Flips to Weiss, and that retires the side. 4-6. Force out. And it's the Mets Seaver coming to bat. Kenny Holtzman to Seaver. That's an 8, a tough 69. Strike 3. Seaver down swinging. Tommy Agee next. 6 is a tough 20. That's strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Holtzman. And Bobby File, a patient 88. And that's a grounder to short. Kessinger in the hole, long throw in time, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down for Kenny Holtzman. We got an old-fashioned pitching duel, 1-0 Mets, top of the 8th. Here goes Tom Seaver against Kenny Holtzman. And that's a 4, a patient 0-5. That's ball 4. So Seaver walks Holtzman. Not a good sign for Seaver here in the top of the 8th inning. And Don Kessinger is going to bunt. And that's a ball that Grody gets to, and he's got 1 play, and that's the first. So that's a successful bunt for Kessinger. Holtzman, the tying run, is on second base for Glenn Beckert. Glenn Beckert versus righty's batted .284. In the replay's batting .310. Here's the pitch to Beckert. That's a in play 32 versus a righty is not going to be enough. That's grounded to the first baseman, Clendenin, who's going to take it himself. And that's 2 outs, but Holtzman makes it over to third. So the tying run is 90 feet away. Billy Williams, sweet swinging Billy Williams, a .331 hitter in our replay. So Seaver's got his work cut out for him. And Billy Williams is a left-handed batter versus the right-handed Seaver. And here's the pitch. That's a 7 in play. And that's going to be a ground ball. Line down to third base, and Charles up with it. Long throw to first, and in time. So Billy Williams grounds out, hits it hard, but right at Charles at third. And again, Seaver, some way, somehow, gets out of trouble. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cleon Jones leading it off. Mets would like to get an insurance run or 2. Would not hurt. That's a 10. That's in play, 78. It's not going to happen. And that's popped up. Popped up right side, left side, excuse me. And that's the shortstop. 1 away. Don Clendenin next. Pitch from Holtzman, an 8 tough 79. And that's line base hit for Don Clendenin. Believe it or not. Yes, it is. A tough 79 is a hit on Don Clendenin's card. Clendenin, not a bad base run. Can hold his own. Pitch from Holtzman. That's in play to Ed Charles, a 22 in play, 22. Right outside the hit range. That's line and caught by the second baseman, Beckert. So Charles hit it right on the screws, but right at the second baseman. And it's Ron Swoboda. With Clendenin on at first, 2 outs. 7 in play, 88. And that is a ground ball shortstop. And Kessinger flips to Beckert. And that retires the side, 6-4. So it's last licks for the Cubs. Seaver versus Ron Santo. It's going to be Seaver versus Santo, Banks, and Spangler here in the top of the 9th. All right, here's the pitch from Seaver. That's a 5. That's a tough out. Tough out 42. And that's popped up. Right side. Selling under it is File. Makes the catch, 1 away. So the Mets are 2 outs away from another victory, improving their record. And it's a 7. Uh-oh, that's in play. That's going to be line drive base hit for Ernie Banks. Tying run is on base. And Banks can run. So Banks is on at first. Not really a base stealer, but he can hold his own on the base paths. Al Spangler now. Here's the pitch. That's a 5. That's a tough out. A 70. Tough 70, and that's a fly ball center field. Tommy Agee to his right. Jones. It's Agee. 2 down. Seaver's 1 out away from a 5-hit shutout. Let's see what happens. Randy Hundley's got good power, so he's a danger. Good power from both sides of the plate. And here's the pitch. That's an 8. Oh, that's going to be tough. A tough 18 is strike 3. Tom Seaver blows one by Hundley, and that's the ball game. Tom Seaver came up huge. Pitch is a masterpiece. The Cubs, no runs, 5 hits, 2 errors. The Mets, 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. And the only Met run came on a Kessinger error. Mets win it by a score of 1-0. Tom Seaver improves his record to 7-8. Kenny Holtzman drops to 9-10. Tom Seaver's the MVP of this game. The Mets improve their record to 46-35, 11 games over 500. Let's look at the box score. Don Clendenin had 2 hits, 2 for 4. He's batting .225. Bobby Fowle went 1 for 4, and Cleon Jones was batting .315, went 1 for 3. Tom Seaver pitched 9 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, faced 34 batters, lowered his ERA to 2.20. In reality, his ERA was 2.21. So that goes to show you a little bit. Hey, Philip, how are you, brother? So this was a great, exciting game, 1-0 final. It pitted 2 outstanding masters of their craft. Tom Seaver versus Kenny Holtzman, the righty versus the lefty. And Tom Seaver comes out on top. That's the ball game. And this is your home for tutorials and strategy, player profiles, history reviews, news, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and so much more. This is your host, CP Cards and Dice, saying thanks for stopping by and checking out our 69 replay, watching what was a tremendously exciting game till the end. It was Seaver who pitched out of a couple of tough situations, and Gil Hodges gave him all the confidence in the world. And Seaver knew it. Seaver knew what he had to do. He's 1 game from 500. Unfortunately, he had a tremendous season. He's not going to replicate that. That's for sure. But he can come up here. At one point, he was 2-7. He's 7-8 now. So he's 5-1 in his last 6 starts, or 6 or 7 starts. So that's it. This is Combat Painter saying thanks for watching, and arrivederci.